Hey, this is Alan Batista, and I had the opportunity to make this video while out in the water recently. What I'm going to do is highlight. Well, there we got Craig. He's working the drift. We're actually drifting pretty quickly. But what I'm going to do is highlight how to swing a jig in the current. A lot of this is going to complement my jigging material and my jigging book. But there's nothing like having an actual video here to show you to complement some of the illustrations in that book. And right there, you see me hooked up already. Um, I'm going to hook up on a couple of fish here, and I'll kind of talk you through it exactly what I'm doing because yeah, just to kind of watch it, it's hard to understand what's happening. But I'll tell you quickly. The boat is drifting from the left to the right, and so you can see the waves, the wave action there, and we're actually moving pretty quickly. So I cast into the drift. We're in 40 foot of water, and by the time that jig gets to the very bottom, which I'm using a 1 ounce GI jig on a 6-inch BKD, I'm doing that because it's a combination that gets down rather quickly. Yeah, right there's the fish. You can see there's the GI jig. When the fish takes it that deeply, when they really want your presentation, you know you got it right when the fish really inhales it like that. There was no lack of commitment there. You can see the BKD is down there pretty good. The hook is in the lip, but the BKD is down there pretty good. There's the combination. You can see it, and I'll throw that right back out there. There's Craig. He's working the drift, and I'm going to show you the screen here. You can see all the fish there. It's mayhem. So if you don't get bit right away and those fish are actively feeding, you really need to fine tune your presentation a little bit. I found that swinging the jig in the current really worked well. It outperformed, working the drift. So you'll see me here. I'm going to point. That's the direction I'm going to cast, if you can see it. So there I am. I'm casting there. I'm going to bounce it back to the left. You'll see my rod tip kind of moving from right to left. And I'm counting down in my head. So I'm getting an idea right there. I'm kind of feeling for bottom. I'm not working the jig. And right there, I felt the bottom. So now I'm going to start working that action from right to left. And there was a miss. Pop it again. Sharp pops. You got to have little sharp pops. You don't have to have huge swings, but you want it to be sharp. And right there we go. Right about there. You can see how quick the action is. You get a couple of pops and the fish is on. So, like I said, the combination is really good there of the 1 ounce GI jig and the 6-inch BKD. I've done a lot of testing. I've dropped a lot of these and timed them at my house in tubes of water, and I have actually all those combinations. But yeah, for deep water, for fast drifts, you won't see me using a huge amount of plastic without a heavier weight. And also, you won't see a lot of skirts on there either. In shallow water, I will because it'll hold up that drift a little bit, and you can get a nice sweep of the jig off the bottom. So I cast back in there, and again, I'm just kind of getting a sense for how long it's going to take to get down there. I'm feeding some extra line out, and I'm just kind of waiting. And you got to make sure you get down. See, I'm feeling. Yep, now I'm at bottom. Now I'm starting to work that jig. And I'm going to get interrupted here, which is just fine. My buddy Craig is going to come into the screen. There's some commotion behind me that I soon become aware of. And he's hooked a pretty large fish. Not a huge migratory fish that we see, but a very nice, basically 3 foot long fish that you'll see here coming to the screen. And I'm just going to get out of his way. Last thing I want to do is mess up a buddy's fish there. I'm still not. There we go. Now I'm kind of getting in there. Wasn't quite aware what he was on at the moment. And there's something to be said about actively feeding stripers and having a lot of competition. But I'm going to get out of Craig's way here. He's certainly, the fish is taking him around the boat. I don't want to get tangled up. But in other situations, you might want to drop right back down and get another one right with it, because a lot of times you'll see them come up to the boat and there'll be 2 or 3 others with it. So I'll let you watch Craig fight the fish here for a second. He's going to do a real nice job. And there, it's finally coming up. I've cut some of that footage out so it's not quite so long. And the camera never does it justice while it's in the water, but you'll see once.
Beautiful fish.
Congrats, buddy.
You got it, man.
He's a happy camper here. So, yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you, and showing you how to swing that jig and trying to get that right presentation. Craig was working the drift. He was basically feeding line out little by little to make sure he hit the bottom. But at some point, the kind of line gets too far out and you have to reset it. I was basically doing a combination of casting retrieve and drifting, where I was casting it out, swinging it, and then if I got past the boat, I fed just a little bit out, worked that drift for just a few seconds, and if I didn't get a bump, then I just kind of reeled it back in and started again. So it's a matter of preference. I felt that was um, the better presentation of the day, and so that's what I went with. You'll see if you have kind of a more slack day without as much wind, you might want a vertical presentation, and metals would work. So anyway, these are all conversations that I have in greater depth in my jigging book, and certainly in the patterns book I have some information in there as well too, as far as what patterns work best where. So I hope this is a good supplement to those. And if you have any questions, drop them in here, or obviously see me in this Facebook page, and we'll have the conversation. I always love doing that. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.